views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone! Happy New Year 2021! We have arrived. Welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Shari Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off in our special essential segment, we'll learn more about both the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines. After that, we'll discuss different steps you can take to achieve your New Year's resolution amid the pandemic, where we speak to NYC Life Career Coach Sarah Bogdanski. Then we'll sit down with filmmaker Loira Limbal to discuss her latest documentary, Through the Night, a story highlighting the child care crisis in America. And later on in the show, Bobby C will bring us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight features singer and songwriter Lauren Eylise, who will perform her single at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Hola and Happy New Year 2021. Welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. In our new monthly segment brought to you by Essen Health Care, we will continue providing knowledge related to health advocacy as we continue to deal with the pandemic. Let's get into our dose of essential medical information. This essential segment brought to you by Essen Health, we focus on the new COVID-19 vaccines. According to the New York Times, there has been almost 500,000 cases and nearly 26,000 deaths in New York City since the beginning of the pandemic. Although COVID-19 cases are increasing, finally, there are 2 COVID-19 vaccines that have been approved by the FDA. And so many people have concerns about these vaccines, and joining us to answer some of those questions, we welcome Essen Health Care founder and chief medical officer, Dr. Sumir Sahgal, or as we endearingly refer to him, Dr. Sunny. Happy New Year, Dr. Sunny. Thank you for being here with us in the first episode of Open of 2021.
Thank you, Rhina, and Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. Thank you for having us on the segment.
Well, let's just jump right into it, right? It could possibly be a transformative year. And yes, there are these 2 vaccines. And unfortunately, there's a lot of mixed messages being put out there. And so let's just talk about the vaccines, how they work. I understand it's a 2-part process. So let's start there.
Absolutely. So, vaccines are meant to stimulate our immune system so we can form antibodies and they destroy the invading bacteria or virus that enters our body to cause that sickness. That's how basic vaccines work. So very fortunate that there are a lot of vaccines in the pipeline. Currently, we have 2 COVID vaccines approved. I agree with you, there is a lot of misunderstanding about the vaccine. So let me start by explaining how this particular COVID vaccine work. So the COVID vaccine has a piece of protein, not the virus, not the COVID virus, just a piece of protein, which has a message and is injected into our body through the upper arm. As it enters our body and enters the cell, it doesn't enter the nucleus, just the cell, and it tells our cell, gives a message to form a protein, a harmless protein called spike protein. And once this spike protein is formed, the message that is through the messenger RNA is destroyed, and this protein, this harmless protein that is formed, is pushed out of the cell and placed on the surface of the cell of our body. So basically, we have a cell with a spike protein on its surface, and basically that gives a signal to our body to form the antibody, the T cells and the B cells, which basically help to fight the virus, the COVID virus, when it enters our body. So imagine like this. We get a message through our weather channel that it's going to be rain today. So we go, but we forget. But we go outside and we see somebody having an umbrella, and we remind us, oh my God, there's going to be rain today. So we go back and we get an umbrella. So that umbrella is like a spike protein. As the spike protein is seen by different cells, they make the antibodies, and when the virus enters the body, it helps to kill that virus. This is how this vaccine works. There are some misconceptions about this vaccine. Does it affect our DNA? It does not affect our DNA because it doesn't enter the nucleus where our DNA is. It only stays in the cytoplasm, in the bigger part of the cell. There's a concern that I recently heard that does it cause sterility or does it affect other body function? No, it does. It doesn't. There is no known effect on body functions as far as reproduction is concerned. And there was a recent concern that does it cause the COVID itself?
Right.
It doesn't, because there is no virus being injected. It's a harmless protein that is being injected through the vaccine.
So because you mentioned sterility, and I wondered if it's safe for pregnant women to take it as well as children.
It's a great question. And the answer is we don't know for pregnant women because this vaccine has not been tested on pregnant women. Having said that, Moderna vaccine has been tested with pregnant animals, and it was not shown to show any side effects to the pregnant animals. Pfizer vaccine has not completed its studies, is conducting its studies right now, and the preliminary data shows that there is no effect either. So the best advice I can give is, if somebody's pregnant, they should talk to their primary care doctor and discuss it further.
So that brings me to the next question with regards to this two different vaccines, Moderna and Pfizer. So do people get to decide which vaccine they're going to take? And also, in addition to that, does the insurance play a role in which vaccine people are going to take?
We are a country of choices. The chances are slim that we'll get to pick the vaccine. And we do have two vaccines out there, Moderna and Pfizer. And the reason is because, one, it is provided free of cost by the government.
Okay.
So insurance has no role to play on which vaccine you will get. However, the healthcare facility that you get your vaccine from may have a charge for administration of the vaccine, which will be paid by the insurance. And if somebody doesn't have the insurance, it will be paid by the federal government under CARES Act. So there is no cost to the vaccine for all practical purpose to the people. Now, why do I say
the distribution of it? Wait, I want to make sure I heard that correctly. But the distribution of it is determined by the government based on whatever arrangements the healthcare, whatever facility and or provider it has with the actual vaccine decision making, right? I don't even know if I said that correctly. The idea is that while the individuals don't have that choice, actually nobody has that choice, is what you just said, right?
Well, you can't go to a Subway shop. You can't go to a Subway shop and ask for pasta. You're gonna get what they have the menu on. And the reason I say that people will have slim choices is because of two main reasons. One is the storage requirement of the vaccines. So there is a cold chain distribution required for distributing and storing these vaccines. And the Pfizer vaccine has an ultra cold freezer requirement where it needs to be stored at minus 94 degrees.
I see.
And the Moderna vaccine has also a cold storage requirement, but it can be stored in a regular freezer, which is minus 4 degrees. Most doctor offices, your neighborhood pharmacies don't have the ultra cold freezer available. Most hospitals have it, and that is why Pfizer vaccine has been distributed to the hospital first, and Moderna vaccine is what most people are getting right now in their facility. But there's one other requirement. That is why I've said the chances are slim for choices, is because when people order, when the healthcare facility orders these vaccines, you have to order a minimum of almost 1,000 vaccines for Pfizer because the way it is packed. Whereas the Moderna can be ordered in doses of 100. So a big facility or hospital system would be requiring several thousands of them, but smaller locations, probably Moderna would be the one. So chances are in the community, it will be mostly Moderna.
Moderna. Okay, so that brings me to my last question with regards to Essen Health and how Essen Health is basically distributing the vaccine, and what are the qualifications for one to be one of the people being vaccinated right now? Because I know there's a level of priority, and what are those priorities that are being considered within the community? We get that the frontliners obviously should get it first, but within the community, how's that determined?
Again, a great question. So we have almost all our sites approved for the vaccine. However, we have to follow the New York State CDC and New York City guidelines. And the government has set up a priority level for who gets the vaccine. So we right now are in priority 1A phase, which probably will last during this month of January. This is a time when healthcare workers, frontline workers, dentists, pharmacists, EMS, all those people who are dealing with COVID cases will be vaccinated. The next phase will be 1B, where people who are older than 75 will be vaccinated. And again, the government is changing its timeline depending upon the resources and their qualification. Chances are 1B will be towards the end of January or February. Then the phase will be 1C, which most likely will be March, April, where people between 65 and 74, along with the first 1A and 1B, will be vaccinated. And then comes this phase 2, where it includes everybody else. So that is expected in the summer of this year. Now, all these timelines can change based on the government recommendation and resources available.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your expertise, and thank you for being here with us. Once again, that's Dr. Sumir Sahgal, Chief Medical Officer and founder of Essen Health Care. And you guys, if you want to learn more on the vaccination and or become part of Essen Health Care, all you have to do is visit essenhealthcare.com. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll discuss achieving your New Year's resolution for 2021. Don't go anywhere. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. So a new year for many people is another chance to start off with a clean slate, change bad habits, and establish new routines that will ultimately improve their lives. And as we all know, it's easier said to set a New Year's resolution than to actually stick to it throughout an entire year, especially during a pandemic. So our next guest obtained her professional coaching certification in 2015 from NYU and helps people achieve happiness as success in their lives. And joining us to give us some New Year's resolution tips to achieve inner success, please welcome life and career coach, Sarah Bogdanski. Hi, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Do you feel very hopeful for 2021?
I do. I feel this really great spirit. I've been feeling it with my family, my friends, my clients, everyone I'm talking to. Everyone just seems really excited to start this new year.
Were you very busy in 2020?
Oh yeah, 2020 was a busy year, but it was a magnificent year in that way for me because I was able to work with so many amazing people all over the country, and people really needed support. So I was so happy that I could, partner with people and helping them de-stress, work through anxiety. Everyone was dealing with the pandemic. So just collectively, like, working together through that, it was really beautiful.
And so the reason I'm even asking all of that is because even though we started a new year, there's this energy that kind of seeped into 2021 that really didn't, I guess, and maybe I'm speaking from a personal perspective, really bring in any enthusiasm to want to set like big resolutions. It's an annual thing that we all do. But yeah, I think this year it's more along the lines of undoing certain things from 2020. So can we talk about New Year's resolutions from that perspective?
Sure, let's do it.
So what do you feel, or what have you been hearing is a primary resolution that people have been setting?
I think, with the pandemic, it's just been a tough time, right? And I think, it was about survival, right? So, a lot of goals people had last year kind of went to the wayside. Everyone is in their home 24/7, working, a lot of people working from home, parenting, having their kids home, homeschooling, So across the board, people were home. And I think that a lot of habits formed, which is understandable, right? It's all good, right? We were going through this unprecedented time, and it was about figuring out, how do I survive through this? So coming into this year, I think people are, excited to see, okay, even though the pandemic isn't over, there are glimpses of hope, right? We have the vaccines coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. People are trying to figure out, well, how can I start moving towards some of those goals I had, or what are my new goals now that I've sort of spent all this time thinking a lot more about what's really important to me now, right? The world has flip-flopped upside down. What's really important? So, there's people, it goes across the board. People want to do big things. People want to go after their dream job finally. People want to start that side business. It even could be things, I'm hearing a lot of people that are like, I got to spend so much time with my family that I'd never had before. So
Right.
now I want to make that really a part of our routine, even as my kids are going back to school. Like, how do we create more special moments as a family? So I'm hearing it across the board.
I'm picking up on what you're saying, and as a coach, I guess what I'm really focused on is, okay, so because you mentioned certain things that we all, I think, share with regards to possibly gaining weight. I call it the Rona 15 over here. That's what we refer to it as, and it is a bit of an issue, and it is something I think I myself have to work on. However, it becomes that question which you just mentioned of like, what's really important, what really matters. Obviously our health matters, but is it about the losing weight, or is it about sustaining health?
Exactly. First of all, yes, the Rona 15, very, very real. Yep. And listen, it's not a bad resolution to say, hey, I want to, work on that, getting rid of that Rona 15 or the Rona 5 or the Rona 30, whatever it might be, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's about going a little deeper and thinking about, well, why do I want to get rid of it, right? Why do I want to lose weight? Is it because, living a healthy lifestyle is really meaningful for me because I want to have energy to, show up to my job well? Is it because I want to, have more energy to play with my kids at the end of the day? Is it because I really want to wear those skinny jeans I bought, the beginning of 2020? I want to, wear those again and feel confident and great. So I think it's just finding the real meaning behind some of the resolutions and goals we have. I always encourage clients, instead of working on goals or resolutions right away, really work on your values first, right? So how do you want to show up in your life, right? Is it that you want to live a healthier lifestyle? Great. If that's your value, then what are some action items or goals I can have around that value? So for example, that could be, I'm going to try to get an extra hour of sleep every night. from what I get now. I'm going to try to eat more vegetables every day. I'm going to, you know, walk every day. You know, the gyms, a lot of gyms are still closed. How can I squeeze in some fitness every day? But get to the value and the meaning behind something first, because that's going to really motivate you versus,
Right.
you know, just like kind of this external sort of force that something.
Right, I get it. So how do you recommend like one start independently, right? Obviously you're a coach, you're there to hold people accountable, but if people need to, is it something that you write down? Like how do you place them in columns? Because what you're saying, it totally makes sense. However, it becomes a question of holding oneself accountable. It's easy when you have to answer to someone, but when you're having that internal dialogue, it's easier to go, you know what, I'm going to skip today, you know? So, and that's where the issues lie, because you're kind of resorting back to old habits. So how do you really maintain the new development?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, you know, to be self-motivated, a couple tips I recommend. So the first thing is I'm a huge believer in writing things down, and not in your phone, not in your computer. Like get a notebook or a journal and a pen or a pencil and write it down. Get those things out of your head and onto paper. I recommend writing down, you know, I call it vision writing. So writing down, it could be a list, it could be a short paragraph, but basically write like, what do you want your life to look like? You know, it could be, you know, I want to be really fit and healthy. I want to be able to cook dinner every night for my family. I want to start my side business finally, whatever that might be, write it all down. Think about what values are important to you and write those down, right? Is it that you want to live a healthier lifestyle? Is it that you want to, you know, achieve more professionally this year? Again, millions of things. It depends on the person, but I'm a big fan. Just write it all down, get it onto paper, but then start small, right? Like, don't try to accomplish 5 things tomorrow. Pick 1 or 2 things out of the list you've made. And it's like, okay, out of the 7 things I wrote down, these are 1 or 2 things that are really important for me to focus on, at least at the beginning of the year. So pick those 2 things and then start thinking like, okay, this week, what's one thing I can do this week? So if it's, you know, I want to live a healthier lifestyle, maybe this week it's, you know what, I'm not exercising at all right now. What I'm going to do is, you know, for 10 minutes a day, I'm just going to get out, you know, my yoga mat and I'm going to do some stretching. Or maybe I'm going to check out a virtual, there's so many virtual classes right now. I'm going to check out a virtual Pilates class and do that once a week. Whatever it might be, start small. Commit to that one small thing. And once you master that, then you can build on it, right? So after a few weeks, if you've been doing that 1 yoga class a week, it's like, okay, I'm doing yoga once a week. Okay, now that I've mastered that, it's part of my routine. What can I add? Okay, I'm going to eat, you know, vegetables every day for lunch. I'm going to make sure there's, you know, half my plate is vegetables. Okay, so let's start working on that. So I always say start small, take baby steps. And in terms of holding yourself accountable, I mean, I'll use the working out example because I think that's one that resonates with all of us or many of us. You know, a lot of times it's like get up in the morning and it's like, oh, I'm tired. I just want to hit the snooze button. I don't want to get up. I don't want to exercise. Again, in that moment, you're feeling unmotivated. You're feeling tired. Try not to decide what action you take based on your feeling. Go back to your values. So if your value is, I want to be healthy, I want to live a healthy lifestyle, go back to that because that'll help you make choices in your life, big and small, versus just the immediate feeling you have, which, as we know, feelings come and go, right?
Right.
So always go back to the value. And that's why I'm like values. Get really clear on those and let those be your guiding factor, guiding force.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. Thank you so much. That was wonderful advice. I mean, I'm taking it to heart because it's true. It's very easy to make yourself wrong and then give up and then go, you know what? Oh, I tried. And it's like, no, it's not about that. It's about like, hey, how is it that you want to show up for yourself? Which is how this whole segment opened up. And I just want to thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. I understand you offer a free consultation, right? For any initial people that may want to familiarize themselves with your services.
I do. So I offer a free 30-minute phone consult. for anyone interested in working with me. And so you can contact me through my website or social media. You can contact me and set that up. And I'm, currently taking new clients.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah Bogdanski, for being here with us on Open.
So great to be here.
Oh man, I really appreciate everything you just shared with us. And I just want to share with our viewers, if you want to book a coaching consult with Sarah Bogdanski, you can visit sarahbogdanski.com and make sure to follow her on Instagram at Coach Sarah Bogdanski. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a documentary highlighting childcare providers. Don't go anywhere. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Through the Night is a documentary that follows 3 working mothers whose lives intersect at a 24-hour daycare center in New Rochelle, New York. The film overall highlights the childcare crisis among the Black and Latinx communities. Let's take a sneak peek of Through the Night.
22 years. I have all different types of families in my daycare. I have some that comes in at 6 o'clock in the morning that works to 8:30 at night. I have some that comes from 3:30 to 12:30 at night. I have some that comes in overnight. I see a lot of parents come in and break down. They don't want to do this, but they need to work and take care of their family.
See you later. All right, baby, have a good day. Be careful.
This is the way the world is set up at this point.
That was Through the Night. And joining us to tell us more and to discuss the inspiration behind creating this film, we welcome Through the Night producer and director, Loira Limbal. Hola, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, congratulations is in order on numerous occasions, right? Number 1, for this amazing film that's receiving all these wonderful accolades. And of course, I have to acknowledge you for being 2021 Madrina at this year's El Museo del Barrio's Three Kings Day, virtual celebration. So congratulations, Loira.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super humbled to be a part of the celebration this year and to be one of the honorees.
And then of course this film that's just taken on a life of its own. It's quite amazing, and on a personal note, I'm very proud of you. Just looking at what we just experienced, it's very touching and moving, and if you would just share with us all why it was so important for you to really dive into this probably unnoticed topic.
Yeah, certainly. And thank you for the kind words. The reason that I made the film is because the film essentially portrays a world that is very similar to my mother's world. My mother raised 4 of us as a single working mother in New York City, working a low-wage job, working the night shift. And I first learned about the childcare providers that are featured in the film through an article that I read about 6 years ago. And the article was really focused on the fact that in the US, people are increasingly having to work more than one job to make ends meet. And that oftentimes those jobs require, irregular hours or non-standard hours, overnight hours, and then asking the question of, given that reality, who was looking after people's children? And as I read the stories in the article, I was really taken back to my own childhood and really thinking about my mother's experience and, somewhat of my own experience as a single working mother. And, I just really was captured by it. And as a filmmaker, my sort of subsequent thought was this would be an amazing movie. This is the story of so many women of color. It's a story that is pretty invisible in the mainstream, and we deserve a film about our experiences and about our lives.
So while it's receiving all these accolades now, this actual story has been in development for almost 10 years. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, 6 years total, right? I read the article 6 years ago. Then between the time that I read the article and actually started working on the film, I let 2 years pass because somebody told me no when I initially asked to be introduced to the providers that are in the film. And I sort of took that no for an answer. And I also, I had a lot of doubts about my own ability to make a film, given the fact that I am a single mother of 2 young children and I have a full-time job. And so I sort of sat on the idea for 2 years. And so it would be, 2 years later before I reached out myself, just kind of cold called them, introduced myself, said, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is what I'd like to propose to you. Would you take a meeting with me? And I finally did. And from that moment, forth, it took 4 years to make the film.
Right. So my calculations are pretty accurate.
No, it's almost a decade,
Yeah. And what? Say that again.
I said, it's close to a decade if you round up at 6, That's the third grade math brain in me, rounding up numbers.
Yeah, I get it, Mama Dukes, but the reason I even brought that up is because, you've got all the support now, and the film is backed up and it's receiving so much recognition. I know you just had an article written up in the New York Times. I know ICTV is attached to it, right? Firelight Media is attached to it. You're part of the Sundance. What is that? Is it a residency?
Yeah,
it's a lab residency. Yeah, and I'm mentioning this because I think it's important that people understand that it's a process.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely, sort of an idea that I had, something I felt very passionate about, something that sort of would wake me up in the middle of the night, but that I didn't mention to very many people for a long time, and when I started to work on it, I kept it close, partially because I had a lot of doubt about, again, my
well,
own.
because you were shut down. And that's the other beautiful aspect of what you're sharing, is that you got shut down. You admit that you allowed them to shut you down because you stepped back and you said, you know what, I'm gonna sit on this. However, you didn't let them close you. And that to me is everything. And who knows, you may just not have been ready at that time, right?
Definitely, my children were younger. So certainly, everything happens, for a reason. And this past year, the film was released in 2020, right? In the middle, our premiere, our world premiere was supposed to be the Tribeca Film Festival. There was no Tribeca Film Festival in 2020.
Right.
And here we are. The film is reaching who it needs to reach, and I have a lot of faith that the film will do what it needs to do in the world,
Right. Well, everything in its divine timing, right? While you didn't get to do that red carpet, extravaganza that you were looking so forward to participating in, the information is so relevant and so important and needs to be highlighted. And right now, more than ever, I think there's a light being shined on essential workers, and they certainly fall in that category. I mean, caregivers. I mean, the woman that you're highlighting in the trailer, it seems like, she adopts everybody. It seems like it becomes her lifeline of, like, to the point of not getting any sleep and getting any rest because she wants to be there for other people's children. I mean, that's a remarkable commitment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Caregiving, as we now know, is essential work. It is sacred work. It is critical. It needs to be respected as such and compensated as such. And also, everyone in the film is literally an essential worker. The mothers who rely on the caregivers are essential workers themselves. Marisol Valencia, who is one of the mothers featured in the film, works for a supermarket supplier. And so she's been working 6-7 days a week throughout the entire pandemic. Shanona Tate, the other mother in the film, is a pediatric ER nurse whose children, sleep at the daycare. She's been on the front lines of the pandemic the whole time. And Nunu and Patrick, the caregivers, their daycare is one of the few that has not closed throughout the pandemic precisely because they're caring for the children of essential workers. So literally everyone in the film is an essential worker.
Essential worker.
And to your point, there's this pandemic moment. We now have this language. We now understand that the work that they do, Marisol, Shanona, Nuno, and Patrick, is literally the work that keeps societies functioning. But, for a very long time, we've been treating them as disposable, right? And creating a situation through our economy and frankly, you know, capitalism and the way that capitalism works in the United States, where people are working and working and working and they can't sleep. You know, no one in the film gets any more than 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. We've gotten to a point in the US where sleep is some sort of luxury that only, you know, the select few, the lucky ones, have access.
Right.
Well, that's really cruel and very violent.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. And it's wonderful that you were able to shed a light on not only these essential workers, but the next generation of children and the way they're being cared for. And I wish we had more time to dive in a little deeper, but I think it's important that we make sure that before we go, that people have access to this film and experience the film, and also just find out more about you and your project. So right now, I get that everything is being handled virtually, but since it's a feature film, is it accessible on demand?
Yeah, absolutely. So the film is actually playing in cinemas right now virtually. And you can visit our website, which is just throughthenightfilm.com. And you can choose, you know, which theater you want to watch it in. Do you want to watch it at BAM, or do you want to watch it at the Maisels, or are you in Los Angeles or Chicago? And you can select the cinema and watch from home. And it is a film that you can watch with the entire family. It's a very much of an intergenerational story, and we found that people are watching it and their children will kind of drift into the room and be really captivated because they get to see children that look like them living lives very similar to their own. So it really is a family, you know, film that, you know, you can share with everyone.
I love it. I love it. I get it. I get it. And I think everybody got a taste of it at the beginning of this segment. And I hope it interests everyone to just really want to expand in their interest of just exposing themselves and their children to stories that support people who look like you and me. All right. Thank you, Loira Limbal. And once again, you guys, Through the Night can be seen online through virtual cinemas. And to find a list of participating cinemas, you can visit throughthenightfilm.com. Don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
We begin our look at sports with the obvious. The New York Jets lost to New England to close the season and showed head coach Adam Gase the door right away. Of course they did. This time, Gang Green will try something different when it comes to their head coach hire, or at least that's what management has said this week. Instead of bolstering one side of the ball, which they tried unsuccessfully 2 years ago with the hiring of the offensive-minded Gase, CEO Christopher Johnson says they will look for a head coach who can galvanize the entire team. That sounds like a good plan. The Jets have sought permission to interview several candidates, highlighted by Kansas City Chief Offensive Coordinator Eric Bieniemy. He's done some job guiding the high-powered reigning Super Bowl champions. He'd be a nice look for the Jets. Here's more from the recently departed Gase and young quarterback Sam Darnold, who hopes to stay with the franchise.
You know, I know we had some adversity to overcome. You know, I'm sure when we look back at it, you know, there'll be things that we wish we would have done different. But this is where we're at right now, and it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't play well this year. I think, you know, there was, you know, really only the 2 games that we won. You know, I think I can definitely play better in the future, and yeah, I don't think I played well enough this year to, I wasn't consistent enough, and that's really it.
Nice accountability for Darnold, but a lot of the woes this season really fall on the shoulders of Gase. Curious if the Jets would look into Bronx native and former offensive line coach Doug Marrone. The team lost out to Jacksonville in the top pick sweepstakes, but could snag the recently fired head coach in Jacksonville, even if the Jags no longer feel that he was good for the job. Marrone was previously considered for the Jets head coaching gig and had success as an assistant for the team from 2002 to 2005. He had a share of highs and lows in Jacksonville, posting a 25-44 mark, including the postseason in 4+ seasons. He did reach one AFC title game and helped the franchise to their first division title since 1999. Meantime, the Giants clearly have found their leader and head coach Joe Judge, yet they still come up just short of the postseason, and man, it was dramatic. Sunday marked the final day of the 2020 NFL regular season, and as usual, the playoff picture stood to change a great deal. Entering Sunday evening's game between the Washington football team and Philadelphia Eagles, the Giants just needed the Eagles to come away with a victory, and New York would be postseason bound. However, the Eagles ended up falling to Washington 2014, despite the game being close all night long. Early in the fourth quarter, the Eagles, who stood to have a higher draft pick if they lost, pulled starting quarterback Jalen Hurts in favor of his backup. That basically gifted Washington the win. The G-men held up their end of the bargain, though, defeating the Dallas Cowboys 23-19 earlier in the day. Here's more from inside the locker room.
We had 16 opportunities this year. That's it. It's our responsibility to take care of our opportunities and to perform better and execute the situations when they're on our plate. We don't ever want to leave our fate in the hands of anybody else. So we're not going to make excuses as an organization, not now, not ever. We had our opportunities. We need to learn from the lessons we have from this year and carry them forward. That's the experience you truly gain. But that's really the most important thing right there. I mean, our opportunities. There's a number of sacrifices that have been made by all the players and coaches in this league. There's a number of sacrifices that come along as well with the family members of the people connected to them. To disrespect the effort that everyone put forward to make this season a success for the National Football League, to disrespect the game by going out there and not competing for 60 minutes and doing everything you can to help those players win, we will never do that as long as I'm the head coach of the New York Giants.
And I was angry because I know that we had 16 opportunities to make it happen. And, anytime you put your destiny in another man's hands, it typically doesn't bode well for you. So, I'm not really angry at what they done. They don't owe us anything. But, we had countless opportunities to, make it happen, and we didn't. So, it is what it is. It's just a tough pill to swallow.
I could see why Giants fans are so upset, but at the same time, the team did lose 3 of their 4 final games, which was the reason that the NFC East division race came down to the final day of the regular season. The Giants finished 6-10, the Jets 2-14. The Giants will look towards the future after a 6-win season and some promise under their first-year head coach. One New York team won more games than the Jets and Giants combined this NFL season. The Buffalo Bills went 13-3 and won the AFC. The Bills are heading right back to the postseason. And they are doing so as AFC East champions. They clinched their first division title since 1995, their second consecutive playoff berth, and third over the last 4 seasons. The prior 2 berths were kindled by stellar defensive play, while the 2020 accent has been led by the dynamic play of quarterback Josh Allen, along with his excellent cast of receivers. What a connection between Allen and wide receiver Stephon Diggs. The Bills look like a serious threat to the Chiefs and the rest of the top-tier Super Bowl contenders. Speaking of top tier when it comes to the NFL, we say goodbye to a legend this week, our good friend Floyd Little, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, known as the Franchise in his career with the Denver Broncos, died on New Year's Day. He was 78. We had the privilege of chronicling Little's journey into Canton, Ohio, as he was immortalized beside other greats of the game. Little had been diagnosed with cancer, which became public this past May and was moved to hospice care in November. For many fans in Denver, Little was the team's first star, always a vibrant presence at team functions. Little had also become a regular at ceremonies in Canton for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Little was enshrined in that amazing Hall of Fame class of 2010. A 3-time All-American at Syracuse University, Little is also in the College Football Hall of Fame. He made his mark in upstate New York like the Bills are right now. He'll never be forgotten, a great player and arguably a greater person. The Heisman Trust always looks for that right combination, too. It's fitting Alabama wide receiver Devontae Smith is the runaway choice for the 2020 Heisman Trophy. After all, Smith ran away from opposing defenses for most of the season. The senior All-American bests Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence and Alabama QB, his quarterback, Mac Jones. Smith makes Heisman history after catching 105 passes for 1,641 yards and 20 touchdowns so far this season. He leads the country in all three categories. He is the first wideout to win the award since Michigan's Desmond Howard in 1991, Notre Dame's Tim Brown in 1987, and Nebraska's Johnny Rodgers in 1972 are the only other receivers in the modern era to win the Heisman. Here's more from Heisman Central.
You got to put your mind to the things that you want to do. If it's something that you really want to do, you have to truly believe in it and work for it and just keep working, and you're going to get everything that you're looking for. Seeing the people back at home, it kind of hit me hard. I kind of wanted to cry, but I stayed strong. Just to see the support of the people that was there, it's meant a lot to me.
Another special night, even if this one was remote and virtual. We hit the C-list for a special season for one player from the lowly NFC East that deserves the fruits of a postseason run. I know it hurts, Giants fans, and I realize the Washington football team is a rival too. But you must admit, if you are a fan of the NFC and the division, rooting for Washington might actually be easier this year. And that's thanks to Alex Smith. Smith has come all the way back from a near death and near leg amputation to lead Washington to the playoffs. Yes, you heard me right. This is one of the great comeback stories of all time, even if the team only went 7-9. His journey is inspiring. He was told he might have to amputate his leg, that he would likely never walk again, that he would likely never play football again. But 2 years and 17 surgeries later, Alex Smith is a winner. In fact, Washington this season is 5-1 when he starts, 2-8 when he doesn't. For a man that didn't know if he'd have both his legs, let alone play football again, leading Washington to an NFC East title is legendary. He's a winner. His wife Elizabeth made sure that he knows it too, taking his old leg brace and turning it into a Lombardi trophy as a tribute to his comeback from that gruesome leg injury that he suffered in 2018. His reward for this remarkable comeback, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Stranger things have happened, folks. I know I'm interested in the outcome of this amazing comeback story. Stay tuned, NFL playoffs on the way. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a singer and songwriter who has emerged in music since a little girl with a musical style considered eclectic soul. And throughout her career, she's had the opportunity to open up for the likes of Patti LaBelle, Erykah Badu, and that's just to name a few. But most recently, she appeared as a front woman for Secret Deodorant All Strength No Sweat campaign commercial. And today she joins us to discuss her new album, This Is Personal. Please welcome Lauren Eylise. Hey, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, girl, how are you doing?
I'm doing as good as I can during these times. Trying to stay prayed up and focused.
You know, it's a little challenging more for musicians and artists that are used to presenting in live performance atmospheres. But I know that you're just creating this album, and I understand that you continue to forge forward with it. And I know you must have come across many of obstacles. On top of that, being a single mom. But I really wanted to open up just with how beautiful that your commercial for Secret is, and also its significance, you know, because it's really about empowering women.
Absolutely. I think it's important for women to hold the microphone and tell our own stories. I think it's important for us to use our own language to do that. And I think it's important to just be vulnerable about our experiences, not only so we can live full lives, but to inspire other women going through similar experiences.
And also the fact that we wear multiple hats, and our primary occupation will always be, when you're a mom, is that of being a mom. and it
Yes.
gets challenging to balance the two, right? Because I think I saw an interview where you mentioned that you know, you were feeling a little pulled because you weren't able to tend to your son in the way you would like to.
Absolutely. I think that working women kind of face that struggle often. And I think that society thus far hasn't done us justice in recognizing that we do wear those many hats, and that we're not only mothers. While that's the most important thing to us, it's not the only hat that we wear. But I do think that there's a shift happening that allows people to see us. Yes, we're mothers, but we're women, and we're daughters, and we're friends, and we're CEOs. So I think it's important to just recognize the changes as they come and step into it, you know, with as much power unapologetically as we can.
I feel you. And so how has that been for you, balancing out, you know, the homeschooling and making sure that your project continues moving forward? Especially when we're talking about a project that is an album. It's an entire album that would require a lot of studio time. And considering this is all, or it started last year, and I understand that you're still moving forward. I mean, what's that been like for you, just making sure that it continues to move forward?
It comes with a lot of peaks and valleys. It's a lot. I think
Isn't that the name of one of your songs?
It is. But that's what I mean. Like, the experiences themselves fuel my art. So I can't really complain, because as difficult as it is, every single peak and every single valley helps me in my art to become a better artist and to communicate myself through my music. So, you know, homeschooling was tough. There's no touring right now. Like, we can't even, venues are shut down. So that stream of income, as well as that opportunity to connect with your fans in real time, sure, that's all cut off. And yes, it's upsetting, but those valleys introduce so many other opportunities. I have so much more time to continue to write and record. I get to spend quality time with my son in a different way. And in a strange way, he's able to see what I do with me having to, you know, do virtual performances and things like that in a beautiful way. So I just count my blessings, and I'm determined to just keep going no matter what.
So how far along are you with the album? And it's lovely that you're able to continue performing in at least in a virtual platform. I know it's not the same as being live, but it's lovely to hear that you continue to utilize this time in a way that is still going to benefit your artwork. So how far along are you with the album? I know you're going to sing a song for us today. I'm hoping it's a sneak peek of it.
Yes, well, it's out. It's out, and let's see. I'm doing a lot of. It's like a sort of virtual tour, if you will.
Nice.
Popping up on different campuses and different conferences and performing pieces from the album there. There are parts of my area that are open, so I'm able to do very small and pandemic safe kind of performances. So I'm doing the best I can as far as just making sure that people get it. I actually just won 2 local awards here, Best Song of the Year and Best Album of the Year. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited, especially considering it's so fresh. It just dropped in December, like a few weeks ago. So I'm just very happy about it. And I'm grateful for that.
Well, congratulations on already receiving recognition for all this work that you've been forging forward in making sure you publish and share with the world. And thank you for bringing it to our viewers. We wish you well. I love the concept of just pivoting and doing virtual tours. I think that's so dope. I really do. And please keep us abreast. And where can people get the music?
It's available on all streaming platforms. So Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever you got, it's there. And of course, you can always visit my website at laureneylise.com and follow me on Instagram at Lauren Eylise.
Awesome. Woo woo. Anyway, you guys don't go anywhere because she's going to give us a quick peek. So we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, Lauren Eylise, she's going to perform one of her singles for us. So don't go anywhere. Here now to perform Joyride, please welcome Lauren Eylise.
Keep your hands on the wheel. Don't you lie. The way it feels to be in control of my heart. Push the start, let's coast. Play that Kendrick Lamar, let's go far in love. And all of these lines, they blur together. And these city lights belong together. You break me down to fill me up. I wanna drink from your lover's cup and get lost in you. Cause it's a joy to ride with you. This scenery means so much more when I'm with you. You bring me down to fill me up. I wanna drink from your lover's cup. Cause it's a joy to ride with you. Now push the pedal to the metal, baby. Go, 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 go. Say push the pedal to the metal, baby. Go, 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 crazy. Go, 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 make me go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. No destination. The journey be the wave. And you've got me lost in contemplation. Oh yeah, you make me feel away now. I said you bring me down to fill me up. I wanna drink from your lover's cup and get lost in you. Cause it's a joy to ride with you. The scenery means so much more when I'm with you, baby. You bring me down to fill me up. I wanna drink from your lover's cup. Cause it's a joy to ride with you. Now push the pedal to the metal, baby. Go, 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 go. Say push the pedal to the metal, baby. Go, 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 baby. Go, 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 make me go, 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 oh, oh. Said it's a joy to ride with you. The scenery makes so much more when I'm with you. You bring me down to fill me up. I wanna drink from your lover's cup. Cause it's a joy to ride with you. Now push the pedal to the metal, baby. Go, 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 go. Say push the pedal to the metal, baby. Go, 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 crazy. Go, 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 make me go, 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 oh, 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 oh.
So it looks like I had the right hat on for the occasion. For more Lauren Eylise music, you can find her on all musical platforms. And for more on, you can go to laureneylise.com and make sure to follow her on Instagram at Lauren Eylise. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests coming through, and to our viewers for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recap cast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide prosperity y amor. Happy 2021.